Hi friends, welcome back to Arc Tutorials. This is CSS full tutorial series for absolute beginners. When I started initially as a web developer, I used to be really confused about all these units when I see in the code which was EM, REM, pixels, etc. I wish I had someone to help me guide and navigate and explain what those units are, how to use them. Keeping that in mind, I'm bringing you this tutorial just like how I would have expected someone to train me. This is part 25 of the series. This is the complete tutorial playlist index. If you have missed out on the first 24 episodes, make sure that you go through them in order to learn and master CSS with me. Alright, so what are CSS units? Now units are nothing but they are a measurement. Okay, think of it like a measurement that we can use to specify the size or the distances in your style sheet for elements. There are different ways of expressing that. The commonly used units are pixel, percentages, EM, REM, viewport width. These are some of the commonly used. Now all this comes into picture because of the design, right? So whenever your design requirements comes in, you need to see how much gap you have, how much padding, how much margin, how much layout should occupy, etc., etc. Those decisions will be made and then these particular units will be used to create that layout, and hence it's very important that you master units. That being said, I'm going to show you different variations with all these units now. Let's go ahead and get started with our hands-on. Alright, I'm going to create a new file for this tutorial. Call it css units.html. This requires its own separate file so you don't get confused. We have the head section, we have the body, I have my style. Alright, so now the first thing I'm going to do as always is create a container first. Inside the container first I'm just going to use simple box, say box 1. For the box styling I'm going to use, let's put some background color, and let's specify height. Now I'm saying height is 100 px. Px stands for pixels. Pixels is nothing but each device, no matter which one, be it a laptop, be it a tablet, be it a phone, right, mobile, all of that screens will have predefined fixed pixels. Alright, and that is what we are saying, that it should occupy 100 pixels on the view. So let's see that. Let's find it in and open it in the browser. So see, this is 100 pixel. Now when I do a inspect element, you can go to iPhone Pro 12, you can flip the device, you can change the device, and you can see how it would look if it is 375. iPad Air, you can see it is 820 pixel. This is width, this is height. So 820 it will look like that. This is the pixel size. Okay, in now you can specify it. Okay, and so on and so forth. But now you get the idea that pixel is nothing but every device, the width is calculated in some form of pixels or resolution. Okay, that is pixel. That's how you give the measurement. Now you can give it any amount you would like as per your design. Okay, there is no restriction. So 600. Now if I make it 1200, this is 14, so this is 1460, right? So see, this screen that I am using right now is 1500. All right, so 1500 pixels is what this screen is occupying. Similarly, if you are on a separate device, usually the standard size is 1024. Okay, that's what most of the desktops used to be, but recent laptops can be 12, 1220, 1440, etc. Alright, so I'm not going into the device things, I'll cover it in some other episode, but today's topic is to learn the units. So first thing, we learned about the pixel. So what is pixel? Pixel is nothing but the fixed unit of measurement, okay, for precise targeting. Think of it that way. It no matter what, no matter which device, this will always be 100 pixel. Okay, so now if I refresh, it will only occupy 100 pixel. Though 1500 is available, it will only occupy 100. That's for pixel. Now similarly, if you say border 2 pixel, see, border 2 pixel, solid gray color. Okay, we can't see that, so I'm going to light the color. So now you can see the border, it's 2 pixel. Okay, now you can say padding, you can say 20 pixels, so it has become big. This is 20 pixel, it is leaving. Okay, similarly you can say margin left 30 pixel, so this gap is 30 pixel, right? So this is how you can use to, so pixels you know now, why and how we give it. Okay, I think that's clear. Let's talk about EM. Okay, so EM unit is relative to the font size of the parent element. Okay, now it especially it's used in responsive devices. EM. Okay, I'm talking about the EM, this one. I'll just come to percentages after this. EM is used mostly with responsive devices, and it's calculated based on the relative to the font size of the parent. Okay, remember that in mind. Alright, so let's go ahead and do the hands-on now for EM. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say the paragraphs should be, let's say, font size 1.2 EM. Now I'm going to throw in a paragraph here. This is a paragraph inside the box. Right, so here I have mentioned the font size in EM. EM, like I said, stands for it's relative to the font size. Okay, now you go back and refresh, and this is coming more. So now when you open and inspect, and you can see here it says font size 1.2 EM, go to computed, and you would see that the font size calculated is 19. Okay, because usually 1 EM means 16 pixel. Okay, 1 EM means 16 pixel. That's the standard thing. So 1 EM will correspond to 16 pixel. Remember that. So if I say 1.2 EM, it will calculate based on this particular font size, which is coming to 19.2 pixel. Alright, so EM is relative to the font size, but remember 1 EM is equal to 16 pixel. That's very important, especially when you are doing the calculations for margin or padding or positioning. Okay, again you can give padding to also in 0.2 EM. You can do this also, and you can also do something like 1.2 EM. Right, now 2 EM is nothing but 16 plus 16. That's right, you're good at maths. So alright, so you can see here, you can see the padding, right? It's 32 pixel applied to all the sides because 1 EM is 16 pixel. So when you are designing consideration with EM, remember the property is relative to your font size, number one. Number two, 1 EM is equal to 16 pixels. So if you are calculating, you need to calculate based on that. Now let's talk about the REM. Okay, REM is very similar to EM, but the difference is it's relative to the root element's font size. Okay, now root element is nothing but, let's say, okay, let me put it font size to the box and show you the difference between REM and EM. So now I'm adding font size to the box, but see, I told you 1 EM is equal to 16 pixel, correct? But here this has also become small, though I have given it 1.2 EM. That's why I said that it is relative to the parent's font size. It is inside the box. See here, you can see it here. Font size is 12 pixel because the entire box font size is 12 pixel, right? So the this is 10 pixel, but this is 12, right? Because we increased it here 1.2 EM, correct? So roughly if you don't mention anything, it is by default 16 pixel, but it is taking from the root. So the difference between EM and REM is that EM will take the parent's font size, whereas REM will always be from the root. So now you take a look here. I'm making it 1.2 REM for the paragraph. See that? Because now this is referencing the root level. Root is 16 pixel by default. That's why it's coming 16 pixel. But here it is, I have specified 10 pixel. So that is the main difference between EM and REM. I hope it's clear, because this is something that I had struggled when I started. So I want to make sure that you have got the understanding correct. Alright, so make sure that whatever is your root level font size, it will be relative to that. But if you, let's say, if you set the font size to say 24 pixel, right? So now, okay, so this is 24 pixel, okay, and if you specify anything, let's say font size default I'm setting 16 pixel, but here I'm increasing the to 1.5, so this will increase based on this font size because this is the root now. Okay, so I hope it's clear, but do let me know if if you're not sure or it's not clear. I can help you out separately. Well, the next thing that I want to cover is I'm going to create another box, and instead I'll create one more container and show you the percentages now. Most of the responsive designs that happen in modern day web development are mostly with respect to responsiveness, and should be able to accommodate on any number of devices, right? That's the precise of responsive design. So for that I'm going to need three boxes. Okay, box 1, box 2, box 3, and I'm going to say this, I'm going to say layout as the container name, and I'll say layout width, it should occupy 100%. Now see, I'm saying it should occupy 100%, and background color should be um, light sky blue. Okay, so you can see here it's light sky blue, and I am going to reset it back to 1 EM so that this doesn't overflow and disturb our layout. So I'm saying width 100%, and I'm saying margin from top should be say 40 pixel. Okay, this is the 40 pixel gap. Now I have my three boxes in the same, I want them in the same layout. Okay, so percentages, so we are talking about dot box 1 width should be 30%, and we learned about the combinators, right? So I'm going to use comma box 2 comma dot box 3. All the three boxes should be 30%. Okay, all right, so they are box 1, box 2, box 3, and this we can remove, and let's bring it up. Instead I'm going to use, okay, so I am going to, or instead I'm going to use a float so I can show you the calculations for each of it. I'm going to float them. This is also something we learned, and I need to clear it once I have floated. So I'm going to do div class equal to CLS. Alright, so now I have my three boxes in the same line with these 30%. Okay, now I'm going to reduce that width, and now you can see that, okay, so this light blue might be causing confusion for you, so I'm going to bring it here, that way it's much clearer. Okay, so I have three boxes which I'm giving width as 30 30. In this case I've made it 10, but now I'm going to increase and make it 30%, So now they are occupying 30%, 30%, it's 90%. So 10% is left out. So you can make it 33%, right? That will come close to 99. So this is how you can give the grid positioning of in width. Okay. In fact, you can also mention media query and say in smaller devices the card should occupy 100%. Now see, I'm saying each box should occupy 100%, so that's 100%. In iPad it should be 50%, so only two boxes will come in one row, right? So that way you can play with percentages and give how much width or how much margin, how much padding you want to leave. Okay, so percentages are the way to play in, especially in terms of layouts, in terms of grid, in terms of, because you can't really specify that padding should be, you know, 20%, because you don't know which device the padding will be, right? You let me show you an example of that. So now see, if I say padding left 20 pixel, it will become so big, right? Padding 20% is getting distorted. It's not good. So you cannot give padding and margin in percentages. You can I mean, it's not a good practice to give margin paddings in percentages. Always use for layouts. Okay, that is about the percentages. Now let's talk about the last one, which is the viewport percentage. Now these units viewport is relevant to the viewport size, that is visible area of the browser. Okay, now visible area is from here to here, right? So that's your visible area of this particular browser. So you will write it as VH and VW. So let me give you an example of that. Say, let's say you want to have a full height. Right now this is not occupying complete thing. So some text here. Okay, you have the text here, but you want the content to be entirely occupied, right? So you can say body height 100 VH. VH stands for viewports height. That means it will always occupy the 100. Now you can see automatically scroll bar has come, right? Let's see, the if I don't do it, it won't be visible because it is not occupying 100% of the page. So 100 VH. VH means viewport height. Now when I refresh, the scroll is here. Now it is 100 viewport height. Similarly, you can also mention viewport width. Okay, now for that you will write VW. Okay, now let's say you want to have the same this paragraph. Let's give a class and say VW sample, and in the class I'm going to write sample, and I'm going to write width, say 50 view width. Okay, and let's put a background color so you can see the difference. You can see it is occupying 50% of the viewport width, right? So this is entire thing is 50. Now let me do that again. Let's say I want to make it 20 view, right? So it will always occupy 20 on any device. Now let me show you that in making responsive. Now when you squeeze it, okay, so it is occupying 20 on a all device irrespective of the viewport. Okay, this is 820, but if you change to SE, it would automatically adjust accordingly of the viewport that is available. Okay, now here in 912 this is the 20 for it. Okay, so remember that those are the main important ones that you will need. PX stands for pixel. Percentages, like I explained, use it mostly for layouts, designs of the outer structure and the grids. EM stands for relative to your font size of the parent of the container. REM stands for root. Okay, it's relative, the font size is relative and it's related to the root of the element. VW stands for viewport width, which is nothing but the available visible area of the browser. Okay, that is called the viewport. So commonly these are the commonly ones that are used for designing layouts. right? Again, you can use this interchangeably with each other. Like I have used here, some places you can use percentages, you can use pixel, you can use club it differently. Like here I have used pixel, I've used VH. You can use width as 100%, right? So see, this is an example where you have all the three together. Okay, so that's how you use the units. I hope I have tried and made justice to tutorial. I hope I've tried my best to explain you. If you have any questions still, please don't hesitate to reach out to me in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to help you. In the next episode, we will learn and start learning all about CSS Flex, and then we will learn about the CSS grids. I'll also do some live coding for you so you can learn how to build professional websites. I hope you're learning. I hope you're having fun. Thank you so much for joining. See you in the next episode. Thank you.